good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching the replay or listening to us on Spotify. This is Fly Nubian Money. I am one of your hostesses with the mostesses today, Dr. Lene Javette. And we are going to be looking at a recent, we're not going to call it a study, but a recent posting that LinkedIn made around Black professionals wanting to become Black entrepreneurs and how unprepared they are. We have a round table of queens and a king who all own businesses. And so we're going to kind of break that down for you guys today. On our panel today, we have Dr. Alicia, who is a social worker with a therapy and coaching private practice. She is also a business owner. We have Athena Gardner, CPA and wealth coach, who owns her business as well. And then we have Dr. Joe Corley, who is not really a doctor, but I like to say it because Constance does. And he is a licensed therapist. And so we have all started businesses. Now, let me tell you what LinkedIn said, okay? So LinkedIn recently released data showing that 77% of Black professionals aim to become entrepreneurs this year. Andrew McKissel, who's a career expert with the platform, says this suggests that we're entering an era poised for a Black business boom. But while many aim to be their own boss, another 63% are not prepared to do so. And he quotes, Black folks got a glimpse of what it could be like to shape their own professional destiny when working from home during the height of the pandemic. He told Essence, we're in the great state right now where people aren't planning to leave their roles anymore or anytime soon as we navigate through this recession. A few years ago, we were in the great resignation where employees had the power and were able to easily leave their jobs for better ones or start successful businesses. He goes on to explain that while launching into entrepreneurship is definitely still possible, aspiring founders should be aware of what they're getting into. And I'm going to go around the room. Dr. Alicia, when you first started your business, were you prepared for what was going to come? Do you feel you went into it knowing what to expect, or do you feel you were like, I have no idea what's about to happen?
Listen, now I sound like Athena. Listen, I feel like I'm not prepared every day. Every day that I run my business, I feel like what's next and what am I not prepared for that I have to be prepared for? So, I mean, I think what starts me into getting into my own private practice was that I was tired of helping my private practice company make money because I was only getting half of all of the clients that I was seeing. I'm looking at how much income was coming in and I was only getting a portion of that. So I started realizing that, hey, I can be rich if I just have my own practice, right? But I didn't realize how much drive it takes and how much of the little intricacies that it takes to really start your business. So with that responsibility comes a whole lot of things that you have to take on that you may not be prepared. So it's nice to just know that sometimes you're not prepared and you have to ask people for help. So you have to get comfortable reaching out to individuals and saying, how did you do this? How did you do that? And just making sure that you're just try to stay on top of it as much as you can.
So were you prepared or no?
No. Okay. I'm not prepared. But I'm learning every day. I'm learning. And I'm always looking for challenges. I'm always looking for things like my business doesn't run perfectly, but I'm always looking for different aspects in my business. So, how can I make this better? How can I make my billing better? How can I make
that's fine. Better? So we're going to get into advice in a hot second. Yeah. I just want to know if you not you, Dr. Alicia. I'm going to go to you, Athena. Were you prepared when you started your business? Did you have it all together? Were you expecting what came, or did you feel like you were kind of blindsided?
Well, for me, no. I did not feel like I was fully prepared. Now, did I have some preparation because my degree was in accounting and finance and business, and I started my career in a business setting? Yes, but nothing, I don't think anything can 100% prepare you for entrepreneurship. And honestly, if you have the mindset that you need to be 100% prepared, you're not going to even start. It's a lot of on-the-job experience, iteration, learning, embracing failure, all of that.
Learning as we go. In the chat, let me know, how many of you guys in the chat have a business right now? Yes, you have a business. And then let me know if you were prepared. If you do not have a business, let me know if it's something that you're thinking about. Mr. Corley, what about you? How are you going into your business?
Listen, had to do it. Listen, for real though, unprepared, completely unprepared. And what I was doing was kind of new, because when I finished my second master's, they had just kind of changed a little bit of the laws for therapists where you could be able to be private practice straight out of school. So not only was not unprepared for the business part of it, I couldn't find anybody that had done what I was trying to do. So it was really just, trial by fire. But I mean, I think I might have tried to run my first business at 19, was unprepared for that. I think I agree with Athena. And it's like, you're not really, and I have an accounting degree as well. My undergrad was accounting. And still, there's certain things you understand, how to count the money and all of that, but all the other little things that come out of nowhere catch you off guard sometimes.
Gotcha. I would say it wasn't that I wasn't prepared. I believe I was prepared because I worked my business along with having my supplemental income gig. So I still had my corporate job. I was working my business. And so it wasn't that I wasn't prepared. I was not financially, I didn't have the financial foresight preparation. So when I left my corporate job, I had $50,000 to run my business. So I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. I had budgeted everything. I knew how I was going to spend it. I knew where it was going to go. I knew how I was going to show up. I had clients already coming into it. But I didn't prepare for the money that I needed to live on. And so that $50,000 that was supposed to last me for a year was gone in like 4 months. So I was not financially prepared, even though I had $50,000. I had never run a business, so I didn't truly understand business expenses and what it was going to take. My first website, I paid $8,500 for. That was dumb. Mind blowing. My second website, I paid $2,500. So my first websites, I paid $10,000 for. Learned how to do websites, and the site that I actually launched my business on cost me $65. So those early years, those early months of being an entrepreneur, you learn so much. Athena, what do you think it takes to step into entrepreneurship successfully? Like, what's somebody, if you could go back and do one thing differently, what would it be?
If I could go back and do one thing differently, the key thing that pivoted for me was embracing failure. My personality type, I was so type A, everything has to be so perfect. You're coming from especially if you're coming from a very high achieving background in school and work, you're thinking that mindset that you have is going to apply here. And this is the reason why a lot of people aren't successful as entrepreneurs that do go through like scholastic or corporate background. Most of the most successful entrepreneurs actually dropped out of college or dropped out of high school. And the reason why is the thing that pushes you is your ability to embrace failure, is your ability to embrace change, is your ability to pivot, is your ability to execute on an idea. And those are things that are not necessarily taught throughout the educational system or within corporate America. In corporate, or if you are employed by someone, you are usually trained on one specific role or function. When you step into entrepreneurship, you are now responsible for all the functions. And that is where a lot of us fall short, because we go into not understanding that there's several other functions outside of what you do as a profession, even if you are a consultant or a therapist and that is your main role. Now you are HR, now you are customer service, now you are marketing, now you are accounting. So embracing failure and also having a system in place and getting the mentorship and guidance is going to be the key to success as an entrepreneur.
All right, Joe, give us one thing. What would you do either differently, or what would you say that a step to success would be, or what would you do differently?
Probably nothing, honestly. Just because when you ask people what to do, you know what I mean? Like they add too many steps for me. And if the way my mind works, I'll probably get overwhelmed with all them steps. So I'll probably just do what I did, jump in and then have somebody, throw me a floaty, like I'm doing right now. But no, not too much. Structure though. Structure is what I need. Is what I needed. Structure.
So that's the answer. Structure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I needed that, but if I would have asked for it, it would have overwhelmed me. Is what I'm saying. So I think that's a lot of the problem sometimes with people jumping off the porch is when you start asking people what to do and you get all them steps and they get overwhelmed.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I need to jump off the porch and then, you know, but yeah, I'm learning. I learned that from Athena, actually, that structure stuff. I'm learning.
Gotcha. Dr. Alicia?
Yeah, I think I don't know if there's anything that I would change necessarily. It was the unknown. It's just I was just willing to take a risk. And it wasn't something that I normally do, is to take a lot of risks. So it takes guts and gall to just dive right in and start your own business and putting yourself out there. So having a background as with a doctorate degree, I mean, it ain't an easy road getting a PhD. So starting a business couldn't be any more harder than getting a PhD at a Research One institution where nobody wants to give you a doctorate. You have to convince somebody that you have overcome any of their concerns in order for you to earn your PhD. And so that's the one thing that I had definitely had within me, is just being able to take that risk. And then sometimes things happen that shouldn't happen and you're like, oh, I lost, but it's getting back up again. That's really, you need to get used to.
Yeah, gotcha. So for me, it would be, I'm going to co-sign what Athena said, or Joe, one of them, about asking for help. But I would take it a step further, receiving it and acting on it, because early on, especially when it's your baby, you think you know what to do, how to do it. And when you haven't done business, you'll go by what you think is best. This are the colors that I like. This is what I want to say. And somebody is telling you, no, think about the client, think about the customer. So I wish I would have listened. I asked for help, but I still did what I wanted to do. But the most important, the most important thing that I think a first-time entrepreneur needs to do, or someone that's transitioning to entrepreneurship, is invest in your knowledge. We put a lot of money into the business, but not into understanding and knowing business. As Black people, I'll say it, we don't have business acumen. We don't know a lot of business people. You can't just call up your homeboy or your family member and say, hey, how did you run your business? So if you don't have that, invest in it for yourself and learn it. And I'm not talking about watching YouTube videos. I'm not talking about all the free stuff and trying to reverse engineer it. I'm talking about find somebody that you connect with who has a business that looks like what you want, and make an investment so that you can learn how to have a business like that. One of my personal values around my business right now is capturing these negative stereotypes around Black-owned businesses and changing them, because our businesses don't have to operate raggedy. Our businesses don't have to run that way. We lack business acumen. So with that, we're going to go to our first commercial break, and then we'll be back and we'll continue this conversation.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tierra Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens, that's Queens, that's Queens, to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
That's 87948. Yes. Anyways, so make sure you guys text the number to text Queens to 87948 if you would like to get notified when we are live. So let me ask you guys a question. And I mean, it's like the $1 million question, which is, why do you think so many Black professionals are drawn to entrepreneurship right now? In the chat, I want you to tell me, why are you drawn to entrepreneurship if you're thinking about it? But if you already have a business, why did you start your business? This is a shameless plug. This is actually an opportunity for you to tell us what your business is and why you started it. So get to type it in the chat. Joe, why do you think Black professionals are drawn to entrepreneurship right now?
You tired, boss? You tired? Tired of clocking in, tired of being told what to do, tired of being, the producer in the businesses, but not reaping any of the benefits. I think that's a lot of what it is, but mainly being able to kind of, people want their time back. I think that's the main driver, is that people want their time back. I know it was the biggest thing for me, was just wanting my time and being able to have power over myself. It gets to a point where that whole having somebody having so much control over you and how you spend and exhaust your energy, that gets old. It gets old.
Old fast. Massa needs to get paid, and he needs you to show up and work hard so he can be on the golf course. Dr. Alicia, why do you think we're seeing this surge and so many Black professionals are drawn to entrepreneurship right now?
Man, I think like my grandpa used to tell me, don't let your main job be your only job. So he always had like a side gig happening or a side business going. My dad had a side business. And so naturally I have a side business. I do have a regular job, everybody. I'm a college professor, full-time college professor, going into finals. So I'll be grading viciously, but it was so nice because you work in these companies and there's a glass ceiling. You start to see other people get picked over you and you start to wonder, wow, is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I'm Black? What is it? Why are my leadership skills not being recognized? What's happening? And so you can get kind of like upset with that, and it can that anger can motivate you to start doing some things for yourself instead of making money for a company that doesn't even respect you in the first place. So that's what happens with a lot of us. We just don't want to have 100% dependent on an actual job income, because who knows, you could be the last hired, first fired.
Sorry, Athena, do you want to add to that question?
I'm going to take a different approach to this. I think a lot of us now we're seeing the rise of entrepreneurship is because people are afraid. They're looking at the cost of housing and their necessities rise up. Trump just won. Elon is going to be the new, Secretary of Government Efficiency. A lot of government jobs are expected to be reduced during that time period. And about over 20% of Black people have jobs from the government. So that we will definitely be affected with that. We're looking at other things within the environment. AI is coming, and there's a reduction in workforce happening within companies, whether or not they are actively laying people off or whether or not they're just not hiring people and just replacing those workers and not hiring people. So I think people are getting the wake-up call. I think, people are expecting to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and they see now is the time, even though we've been preaching for a long time, especially as Black people, that entrepreneurship is going to be something that they might have to embrace or be forced to embrace.
So I'll tell the exact reason why I started my first business, right? Initially, it's probably about 2008 when I came up with the concept. Obama's in the office, and it's just so much racism, that woke up a particular type of beast. And there's just so much negativity going on, and everything online is just negative and crazy. So my first business was called Closire. It was a play on the words culture and desire. And it was just to bring our ancestors' cultural desires for who they were at that time and who we are today. They're the same. We want to be respected. We want our children to go to school. We want to have good jobs. We want to get paid equal. So they were the same. And so I just started putting all this really good, positive content out there to bring Black people together. And it just took off quick, easy, fast. I don't want to say easy, but it's fast. And because of that, people started asking me, what did you do? I got to 75,000 followers. I had over 3 million page views in less than 7 months. 1 million people had come to the site. I'm in 214 countries and territories. People are like, what are you doing? Show me, teach me how. And that's literally how I transitioned into being a business coach, from starting my business to then coaching. And then the more you coach, the more knowledge you get, the more you're showing up in different rooms, and your clients start having success. And then I was like, oh, well, let me use this thing I know about strategy. And that's literally how I started my business. It was built on the back of, I want to see Black people do well. be well, be happy. And there's this thing that's happening in our society that's trying to tear it down. And so I think what we all kind of talked about was there's a view or a need or something within us that says, I can go into the world and do something different. I don't have to listen to corporate America. I have a talent or a skill that I can use, or I want to serve, or I want to help, or I just want to make my own money and I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. I think that there's this view on entrepreneurship that is going to become, it's going to be better. I'm going to have something better. Somebody might be feeling like, I don't want to work as hard. A lie. You're going to work harder, right? The lady from Shark Tank says, people will leave a 40-hour-a-week job to go and work 80 hours for themselves. And that is the truth, right? So we're going to roll to a video right now that talks about how Black people may view entrepreneurship. And then we're going to talk about that when we come back.
Why is it every time we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, but we're not talking about Robert Johnson, Tyler Perry, we're not talking about Calendly. Calendly is a Black-owned tech company, but that's a story that a lot of people are still finding out today because oppression will minimize stories that give hope for people who historically have been marginalized. We live in a country that's more likely to put white men with wealth on a pedestal than Black men or Black women. What has Black wealth traditionally looked like in this country? The historical response to it has been violence. We've been socialized to not talk about money because it's not safe.
So she brought up some good points. A lot of times when we're talking about entrepreneurship, we are not leading to people in our community, right? We're not necessarily talking about an Oprah or a Bob Johnson or a Magic Johnson, you know what I'm saying? We're looking at others. What do you think about that, Dr. Alicia? How do you think that is the truth and or why?
I can see what she means by that. I mean, representation, I think, really matters. It's nice to be inspired by other people who are starting a business and making money successfully, and they're not singing, they're not dancing, they're not playing a sport, they're doing some other things. Like, you can make money and you don't have to be famous in order to do that. So I really think that's beautiful. We really need to support Black businesses. I mean, it's so funny. Like Chris Rock, remember that Chris Rock did a comedy show, and he was like, Black-owned business, grand opening, grand closing. I'm like, dang, I mean, it's so true. Like, this whole thing to support it is so important.
It's very sad. We got to go to break in a hot second. So I'm going to tell my quick story before we go to break. One of the reasons why I chose to look at the success of Black-owned businesses is because the majority of research, the majority of conversations, the majority of spotlight that goes on Black-owned businesses is the reason they fail. Like, if you go to look at what Black-owned businesses are doing, fail. This is how they fail. This is why they fail. They don't get this. They don't have that. Nobody's actually saying, well, how do we make them successful then? Well, then what do we do so that they have a higher success rate? What do we do so that they live longer than 3 to 5 years? How do we make sure that these businesses last for 10 years? What is their exit plan? Belief of our community, the goal is not to have a business for the rest of your life. The goal is to grow a business and sell it. But sometimes we don't have right. We want to hold our Black-owned businesses hostage to us, when you actually make more money when you sell the business. You can go and do other things. So we're going to keep talking about how we view Black-owned businesses when we come back from this commercial break.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says? Check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Come on, Jazz Hand Joe. Get your money right. Yeah, there we go. All right. Get your money right. Get over to flynubianmoney.com so that you can get your money right. We're going to go to you, Joe. Let's talk. What did you think about that clip, or how people, us and or others, view Black-owned businesses?
Honestly, what it did was it made me tight. You know, I felt the anxiety in my neck listening to her talk about that, because she's right. Oftentimes the hope is diminished. The story isn't told the correct way. The truth is withheld. And, when you get out here and actually try to, conduct yourself as an entrepreneur and whatnot, you find out that a lot of things that you didn't know were right there and available to you. Or I think a lot of people do lack hope, and they're afraid of going out here and like finding out that you can actually get paid for just doing some of the things that you would be doing anyway. So it's weird. Oh, somebody will pay you for that. Yeah. I remember, hey, when I got my first, fee for doing a session, it really blew my mind. Like, I had to go take a walk. Like, oh, somebody just sat here. I was at home. Like, somebody just sat here and paid me to sit in my house.
That part.
And talk to them for 50 minutes.
That part. I tell my clients all the time, if one person to pay you for it, 5, and if 5 people pay for 50 people, and if 50 people pay for 5,000, let's get this money, right? Athena, what about you? What are your thoughts when you hear or you see that we're turning to founders, creators, business owners that don't look like us, and or what the world may think about Black-owned businesses?
Well, I think that Black-owned businesses have this negative stereotype that it's janky, that we don't have processes in place, that we may take forever to get the food or the product or the service or the customer service. And while I do think there's something to that, and I do think there's something to us looking at white businesses, what I want us to understand is that these issues are not only unique to us. A lot of white businesses also fail. A lot of non-Black businesses also fail. I've been to plenty of non-Black businesses that was janky as hell. So I don't want us to take on a narrative that we can't work together, we can't have business structure, or we are the only ones that need business structure and all these things in that place, right? But I do think that we do not own our media. So unfortunately, we are only going to be able to view and consume what other people have decided for us to view and consume about our own culture. So whether that is, and that seems to be more focused on entertainment than entrepreneurship, unfortunately. But that's why we have channels like Fly Nubian Money here to give you the other insights and aspects of media that you need to actually enhance your life and improve your quality of life.
I'm glad you said that, because you just gave me a dope segue. This is our media. So in the chat, I want you to tell me one of your favorite Black-owned businesses. Put it in the chat. Doesn't matter where you are, where you live. Let somebody else know about a Black-owned business that you patronage, that you like, that you support. And I'm going to tell you some real quickly. Hopefully I have time to do this. So Arlen Hamilton, founder and managing partner of Backstage Capital. I'm not going to read you all of their stuff. I literally just recently did this thing on Black founders because I wanted to share it. I shared it in one of my classes. Tristan Walker, you guys might have heard about him. He's the founder of Walker & Company Brands. He owns Bevel, which is a black shave company. Makila Ulmer, she's the founder of Me and the Bees Lemonade. She started her business at 4 years old. She has a personal brand around bees. Her company, Me and the Bees, not only offers natural lemonade, but actively works on saving honeybees. You guys know who Lisa Price is. Mose Bose, this is a little young Black dude. He was on Shark Tank. He has $1 million plus company now. Gabrielle Jordan, founder of Jewels of Jordan. There's all these dope Black entrepreneurs. Janice Bryan Howard, she founded Act One, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. Chris Gardner, you guys heard of. Tariq Farid, the founder and CEO of Edible Arrangements, is a Black man or woman. Him, it's a him. There's just, I can go on and on about these dope Black entrepreneurs who have done great things that some you may not have even heard about, but they're doing these super amazing, dope things that go, they don't go without being talked about, but I think I'll go back to what Athena says. They're not mainstream media. We might hear about them on Essence, we might hear about them on Black Enterprise, and we're talking about them in our community, but not around the world. So this is a support question. How can we better support our Black-owned businesses and or the people who are starting businesses? Let's say that, right? So we know how we can support Black-owned businesses, but how do we support individuals who want to start a business, but they may not have an environment, right? of entrepreneurs and business owners, because a lot of times we're the first person to start a business in our family, or we're the first person that we know that has a business, right? So what advice could we give to someone who's like, you know what, I do want to start a business, but I don't even know where to begin? What advice would you give that person, Dr. Alicia?
Let me tell you, I'm obsessed with winners.
Mm.
I love people who win, and I spend a lot of my free time watching documentaries and studying people who win, because in my mind, I'm inspired by that. Because really, to help other people, you inspire other people to want to start their own business, and that's important. But it takes a passion. All of us need to be passionate about something, because you're gonna have some losses and pitfalls and some unknown things that can happen, but it's your passion that really brings you through. So that inspiration, like staying focused and being able to be inspired by people, like just recently, I can't remember her name. She started Canva. The lady who started Canva, she worked. Did y'all hear that story? She worked for like 2 years. 2 years. She was pitching her idea to hundreds of potential donors, and they all said no for 2 years. I don't know if I could do that. But just listening to that, it's a multi-billion-dollar company now, Canva. All those people turned her down. How inspiring is that? Because you can go back to the people who told you no and be like, look, you passed on a $1 billion idea. You didn't know. So it's something like invigorating about people who are able to just overcome like impossibilities. I can't even imagine trying to pitch my business to get financial support for 2 whole years and everybody's telling me no. Like, that is remarkable. So I just love studying winners.
All right, I like that. What about you, Tina? What advice would you give?
The advice that I would give is that definitely use the same time. You have the same amount of hours. You're on social media. Start following people who are in business. Start following people like myself, Dr. Lene, who are in business and wealth and in that arena, so you can get some advice and some tips. And also look at local resources that may be available to you as well. The SBA.gov is a free online government-sponsored website. It's tools, score, all of those things, right? Watching this channel, right? So if you're here watching this channel, FlyNubianMoney.com, I hear that we have a Fly Nubian Money Club that is coming out as well. So embrace different avenues of where you can get information. I know for me personally, I do put on free workshops that help people start their businesses as well. That is something that I do. And also realize that if you have a dream and a goal, no one's going to make it happen for you. No one is going to put that work in for you. Even if you hire someone to consult for you, you're still going to have to be the one to execute on the idea. So you need to actually have a come to Jesus, dark night of the soul moment with yourself and ask yourself, are you for real with this business and this idea? Because entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Okay, you work more. That time that you're trying to buy back, you don't get that till further down the road on the back end after you done set some systems up in place. So you're actually going to work more, and there's no guarantee that it's going to pay off. So if you're a person who would just rather just make a certain amount and work a 40-hour and enjoy your weekend and your time off, then I would even advise you to just focus on a more highly skilled labor that actually pays more, because entrepreneurship is going to require a whole mental lifestyle shift.
Joe, what about you?
I say this when I was struggling, and I was just doing odd jobs to like make ends meet. I got out there outside with one of my white friends, and he was building a fence for this huge apartment complex, right? And so I got out there and I helped him, and it was like a 6, almost 7-figure situation. And while we were doing it, I asked him, has he ever done this before? And he said no. It was his first time doing it, but he got this job, and it just kind of made me realize like where I'm going. My advice is deal with your intrusive thoughts, right? Because most of these folks is just jumping off the porch and don't really know what they're doing anyway, but they believe in it. And that's how it gets done. But your intrusive thoughts will try to remove you from, your goals and your destinies by telling you that, oh, I can't do it. Nobody's going to pay me for this. I'm never going to be able to make money doing all these things, but it's really just not true. So that might sound, a little bit out there for some people. If you're in the chat, you're listening, but my advice is to push past your intrusive thoughts, push past them and just go, and then find out on the other side whether or not you're right about your ability to do it. But you're never going to find out if you don't jump off the porch and just go.
Okay. So I usually would tell somebody, find a little bit of what everybody said. I'll kind of recap a little bit, but definitely find a business muse or a lookalike business or someone who's operating at the level that you want. A lot of times when I'm talking to people and I'm like, who's your competitor? They're talking about somebody who's right here. And I always tell my clients, you have two competitors. You do have the competitor that's right here. You guys are at the same spot. But when you're thinking about how you want to build your business and where you want to go, you don't want to build your business looking at the person who's next to you, because they don't know what they're doing either. So you want to look at a business that's a few steps ahead of you to figure out what are they doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Business is business. It's the same in every industry. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to figure out how to stand out in it. But look at what somebody who is doing. Something that somebody has already done, because success leaves clues. So you're looking like what Dr. Alicia says. If you are obsessed with winners and you're looking at the clues that these winners leave, it will make your job easier. So that's one. The other one is get around people who are doing what you want to do. You don't have to travel the road of entrepreneurship alone, especially when you're making that transition from a professional into entrepreneurship. It's a different beast. You have to relearn everything. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. Nobody's going to tell you how to do it and what time it has to be turned in. You're responsible for that. I coach so many professionals that transition to entrepreneurship, and the majority of the reason why they fail is they can't make the mindset shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. This is the wild, wild west. There's no rules. You just got to get out here and get it. And that can be hard if you are a structured person who is used to doing things A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, because that's what somebody told you to do. And then the last one would be what I said earlier, invest in yourself. Take courses, get a coach, get into a membership, read. There's so much information around business that's out there now that when somebody tells me, I don't know, I can't figure it out, I've never done it before, I can't take you seriously, because if this is something that you want to do, you want to do it right and you want to be prepared, the information is out there and you have access to it. Now, speaking about access, let's talk about money, because that's one of the things that's not out there, right? Access to capital is not out there. And that can make things difficult when you're starting a business, because you do need some funds. And a lot of times we're looking at bootstrapping because venture capital, banks, things of that nature, they're not always available to us. Let's go to a video about venture capital, and then we're going to come back and talk about Black-owned businesses and startup capital and funding and money.
We don't talk enough about how challenging it is to build a Black-owned business in 2023. As the number of Black-owned businesses is on the rise, it's important to understand the challenges many face when trying to obtain venture capital. Did you know that in 2022, Black-owned businesses experienced a 45% drop in venture capital funding, as compared to a 36% decline among overall VC funding? And the statistics are more staggering when you look at startup loans. Only 1% of Black entrepreneurs receive business loans within their first year, compared to 7% obtained by their white counterparts. And if you thought this couldn't get any worse, think again. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Black entrepreneurs receive less than 2% of total venture capital dollars each year. And unfortunately, Black women founders receive less than 1% of that. Listen, I didn't make this up. These are the facts. And it demonstrates just how much harder it is for Black-owned companies to access resources that will aid in greater success.
All right, let's talk about the money, right? So, Joe, when you first started your company, what was it like financially? Did you bootstrap? Did you get investors? Did you get a bank loan? Did you do a business credit card? What was it like starting your business from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, I definitely had to get a business credit card and, just kind of take small steps, like afford what I can afford and push some of the stuff off to the side, like how you was talking about those websites, right? So, okay, well, I can't really get down with that right now, so I just got to do what I got to do. Figure out a way to get the word of mouth out here. And when I can come back and pay for some of these things that people are telling me that I need, then I'll come back and pay for them. But for right now, what is the essential things that I need in order to generate any type of income, even if it's a small amount of income, and then we can restructure later. But, I did what I had to do, business credit card, a little bit of pulling from here, pulling from there until it got sustainable.
All right. What about you, Dr. Alicia? What did you do financially when you were first getting your business started?
Man, I quickly learned that a great idea doesn't automatically make you rich, in your business. You really do need to have support and somebody that can help support what you want to do. And it's not just seed money, it's time, attention. It's giving you advice. It's somebody sharing with you pitfalls. So that's priceless sometimes, but you definitely need some sort of investment. And I had some money in my savings. I also had a husband who helped me. So that was always nice to just have somebody who believes in you. And trust me, he wouldn't have helped me if I hadn't, Dr. Boyce would never have helped me if I had been, I don't know, if I had been wishy-washy. He had to, before he invested in me, he had to make sure that I was able to, that I had the drive and the determination and the passion and the great idea to want to start my own business first. And then after a while, he was like, I was just looking, I think you're ready. I think you're ready now. So it was hard for me to convince my own husband to invest in me, which he did. So sometimes it's hard to get investors. And so you have to just continue to work on it and see if you can collaborate with people. We need to have really good interpersonal skills. We need to network. And sometimes it could be a win-win situation. I can help you in this area. You help me in this area. So, it's really nice to working together and being able to get along with people and being flexible. That's key. And people want to make sure that they're spending their time and their money in a business that's actually going to thrive. So that's important to keep in mind too.
Got it. All right. I think that we're going to come to you, but we're going to go to a break first, and then we're going to come back and we'll finish this line of questioning.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and review so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
All right. She said enough. But if you need any of those helps or assistances, make sure you guys go over to for financials, flynubianmoney.com. But if you like to get in touch with Tiara, or you like to be a queen or a king for the day, if you like to come hang out in the kingdom, you can email info@real, that's REEL virtual.net. You can also, if you're looking to advertise your business or get your business on the show, that's also the email you would use for that. So Athena, what about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
I was hoping you remembered. I was like, what was the question?
Oh, we're starting advice to give for anyone starting a business. Okay, so the advice I would give, do not jump out the window. Do not jump out the window alone, especially if you are a single person, because
No. We're talking about money. How about starting your business?
What?
Financially. We're talking about the
financial. I'm getting to the financial. Financial part. Okay. Do not jump out the window, because you still need to live and sustain yourself while you're creating this business. So with entrepreneurship, right, especially in the beginning phases, you're working way more than your regular 40 hours. I suggest people to keep their main job and to start a side job, so you're not pressed financially with your current obligations, so you have less pressure, and you can kind of figure out some things without having the financial strain put on yourself. If you have a partner that can invest with you, fine. If you don't want to do that route, if you don't want to still work while starting your business as a side business, then you're going to have to drastically reduce and downgrade and downsize your lifestyle to accommodate that. I also suggest that you need to fund your own dreams. Do not, if you can get help from a partner, a spouse, a family member, friends, whoever, great. But most of the times that is not the case. You might have to pick up an extra job in the beginning to get some seed money, find some grants, find something in order to start that business. If you do get a business credit card, because I know we see a lot of stuff on social media, get an LLC, get a business credit, get a this, and voila, your business is successful. That is not the case. The thing with that business credit card is that you're going to have to pay that money back. Okay, you're going to have to pay that money back. And especially if it's a new business that doesn't have a history of any kind of credit, your personal credit is going to also be used to determine that credit card as well. So fund your own business, take your time, make it a side business. And then my last piece of advice is to find someone, a coach, a person, an Instagram page that is giving you keys to success, that's giving you tips to help supplement that business and to help that business grow. And I guess one of my final tips, because I'm rambling, sales. Okay? Sales is the lifeblood of every business. You need to figure out your sales funnel if you want to stay in business.
All right, so we're gonna pivot a little bit to growing a business. But before we do that, the things that I would say is basically just is a little bit of what everyone has said, and that is when you're first starting your business, you cannot live the same life that you were previously living. And a lot of times when people start their business, they want to start their business and keep Netflix and Hulu. You want to keep going, get your nails done. You want to keep the quality of life and the lifestyle that you have while you're starting your business. And you're going to waste so much money up front early trying to do that. When you first start your business, just get rid of the stuff that you don't need right away. That way your ability to put money into your business lasts longer. I literally turned off all of my entertainment stuff in my house. No more nails, no more all the fun stuff. I'm doing my own hair, like all of the things so that I can have the funds. I did get jobs here and there, things that I could work around in my house or at home I called them my supplemental income gigs. So these gigs supplemented my income while I was starting my business. And then the other one is where I'm at right now. I wish I would have done this when I first started my business. If you don't hear anything else I have said today, this is the one thing I want you to take away from. Because one of the reasons why businesses fail is because they don't have money. And it's not that the business doesn't have money, it's that the owner does not have money. They can't pay their bills, they cannot live, they cannot feed themselves. I'm on a kick right now. I'm reading this book right here, How to 10 Million. This book is about this dude. It says, sell your knowledge and make millions. How to 10 million. He makes $833,000 a month selling what he knows. Okay. I'm reading this other book right now. This is one on my desk. And I'm reading it like it ain't nobody's business. It's called Profit First. And it tells you how to pay yourself first. I wish I knew that. How to pay me first. Because when you are starting your business, whatever you make in that business, you put it back in that business. And if there is something left over, you take that, however minuscule that is, right? And so it talks about accounting, which is sales minus expenses equals profit. But this book, it says, no, why would you put profit at the end? What we think about is what we put energy into. So we put energy into our sales because we got to pay our expenses. But what if you put your profit first? Sales minus profit equals expenses. You spend from an expense standpoint what you have left over to go into the business. You don't just throw all your money at your expenses, because it will teach you how to run your business creatively and innovatively with this. Can y'all see that? With this instead of this. And so that's what I wish I had known better, because we bring in money from our businesses. We bring money from our jobs, but we don't know where to account for it, where it should go. We don't know how much we should be paying on expenses. We don't know, do we need all three of these CRMs? You don't know those things. So you could be spending $1,500 a month in expenses when you really could be running your business nice and streamlined for $250. And that $1,250 could be going to your pocket. But because we do sales and expenses and then we take whatever's left over, we end up not having profit and being able to pay ourselves or eat. And so that would be the biggest thing around money that I would say. Can we show the slides on growth? Armando said the skeleton crew, bare bones, the bare men. Listen, you can do it. We do. It's like running your house. When money is tight at home, what do? You start looking at the meals that you're going to eat. You start downsizing. You start doing things differently to hold on to the funds. So let's look at some statistics. Black ownership statistics for 2024. It says in 2019, Black business owners owned 3.6 million businesses in the United States. Black-owned businesses employed 1.3 million Americans. Annual payroll, 40.5 billion with a B. Total sales, 217.3 billion with a B. According to statistics, Statista.com, in 1972, there were 187,000 Black business owners. In 1992, Black-owned businesses grew to more than 500,000 in the United States. In 2012, Black-owned businesses expanded an astronomical 400% to more than 12.5 million. In conclusion, if growth continues at the current pace, Black business ownership is projected to reach approximately 4.3 million by 2032, a total growth of only 73.4%. This would represent slower growth compared to the previous decades. Wow. So we are growing, but we're growing. We had a crazy huge spurt in between 2012 2019, which is where you see that 400%, and then it's kind of tapering off. So it's starting to slow down a little bit. What are your thoughts around that, Athena? What are your thoughts around those statistics and the fact that it's kind of tapering or slowing out?
Well, I feel kind of saddened by the fact that it's slowing down, and I don't understand why that is. I know that Black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial group. So I'm wondering what is really causing the slowdown within entrepreneurship. I would think that if anything, it would increase because we have so much available to us from a technology standpoint. We live in the information age. AI is coming, making a lot of things easier. So I would think that would accelerate our, demand or interest in entrepreneurship. But like I said before, entrepreneurship has its challenges, and it's not for the weak. It's not. Oftentimes, you're going to have days and moments where you question, should I even really be doing this? It would just be much easier to just do my regular job or even pick up another job. 2 jobs and make way more money, right? But the goal, you have to identify what the goal is for you and how that serves your purpose and in long term, right? So I'm very curious to see why it is decreasing. Maybe people are realizing it's much more difficult than they thought it was.
There's more to this thing. You're saying this is not for the faint at heart. So I want to get your opinion and your advice as well, Dr. Alicia and Joe, but we're going to go to a quick break and then we're going to come back and finish this line of questioning.
We're claiming it. 2025 is your year for home ownership, and we are going to get you to that goal. Who's we? Fly Nubian Money Club and me, Laura Lala Key, international real estate agent, and we have a wonderful session for you about how to get you started on the path to home ownership. We'll cover the steps. We'll answer a lot of the questions that most people have, because when you are educated about this process, it makes it more fun and a little easier than if you step into it without knowing anything. I can't wait to spend some time with you to get your juices flowing and to get the excitement flowing, because 2025 is your year. Make sure that you come to this class and you invite someone else, because it really is important to own your own piece of land. I look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Man, Lala has all the energy. Okay. Listen. Okay. So, Joe, would you like to answer the question that I asked about whatever I asked about before we went to break?
I think that I remember. I think what's slowing it down, honestly, is people are scared, for one. I mean, it's getting, what is it, like $1,000 is like $100 right now. You know what I mean? Like and people don't want to let go of that for sure income, that for sure check. to get out here and take a risk. Because like Athena's saying, it's not for everybody. And there are risks involved with entrepreneurship that, that can scare you back onto that porch. Unfortunately, that is what it is. And also, when you look at, the more people that got out there and did it, it seems to me, and it's just my opinion, somebody had to fact check on me, that systems are making it harder. Like there's always some kind of new something coming out or something you got to file. If you don't file, you go to jail. I mean, it's just every time I look up, I'm getting some kind of letter in the mail about some type of business thing, and I'm like, bro, what is this? What is this? So I just think that thing is just getting harder.
What about you, Dr. Alicia? You're shaking your head like you saying, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it being overwhelming. I mean, there are some times where I just say, I just ask myself, why are you so ambitious? Just sit your ass down somewhere and do not just stop. And then I think about, sometimes other people, we don't have time to sit and think about, I got 3 children that keep me very busy. Sometimes it's hard to carve out time to sit and think, oh, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do all this. I have time, because if you are living paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people are, when are you really going to carve out time to sit and just decide and work on starting your own business when right now I got immediate things happening right now? Like right now I need to eat. I need to remember eggs. I thought eggs and bread was so expensive and milk is so expensive. Everybody's thinking about that, and they don't have time to think about future ahead. I'm thinking about today and tomorrow. I ain't got time to think about next year this time. I'm just living hand to mouth. And so a lot of people just aren't in that position where they have their desires to start a business, but that's, that's one thing. You have to actually put in the sweat and work. And so that's difficult, and it's overwhelming and discouraging.
It absolutely is. It's one of the things that we talk about when we talk about those stats, or we talk about the fact that Black women have started businesses 313% faster than everybody else. And we cheer and we get excited. And we're like, oh my God, we're out here, we're killing it. It says high five and all the great things. But what we don't talk about is how many of these businesses stay in business longer than 3 years. How many of these businesses are successful? Starting a business and having a successful business are 2 different things. And we don't talk about that part. We just get excited because they started this business, but has their business been successful? Do they still have that business? Is their business profitable? Because like you said, $100,000 is not $100,000 anymore. The new 100,000 is like 125, 150. Like if you're not hitting 6 figures is great, but you're still broke. Like 100,000 is it's nothing. And sometimes I say that, people be like, that's because you make over 100. Yeah, and it's still hard, right? I know when I got to 100,000, when you are an employee and you make 100,000, it's a little bit something different. When you're an entrepreneur and you make 100,000, meaning you brought in revenue, income was 100,000, that's not profit. Because what did it take you to make the 100,000? So if I make 100,000, I spent 30 probably. So I really only made 70. That's nothing. I could go get a job and make that. So there's just all these nuances that go into understanding and being prepared for entrepreneurship. And that's what I think the LinkedIn article is talking about. It's not just, I want to work for myself. I want to make X amount of money. I'll do it this way. My research was I told you I did my dissertation research was on success, and it looked at psychological capital as a predictor of Black women entrepreneur success, because as entrepreneurs, we look at success subjectively. We do want to make money. Don't get me wrong. Money is in there, but we also evaluate success differently. I want to get up and to be able to take my kids to school. I want to take a vacation when I want to. I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. And for that reason, somebody else's success might be 150,000. Somebody else's success might, I just need to make a cool 75,000. I just want to replace my income. And they're okay with that. And they feel like that they're successful because their measures of success aren't always financial, but you have to be prepared and know what that looks like for you, and then build your business around that. Because your business will take a life of its own. You will not be prepared. You'll be run behind that business, stressed out, wore out, beat up, tired, broke, black eye, all the things. If you are not prepared for this entrepreneurship, it will run you over back up and run you over again. We're going to do final thoughts. We're going to go around the room, do our final thoughts, because it's 12 o'clock. We're going to go around and do our final thoughts. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Alicia. What would you like to leave people with today?
Well, there's two things. I know we've been talking about books, and I'm seeing what books you're reading in the chat. For myself, in my business, I like to stay on top of my area of expertise. So I'm always reading research articles. I'm always reading books. Sometimes books, some of the information in a book may be a little old. So I like to go to research articles. I like to stay on top of things by going to conferences, doing a lot of networking. So I encourage everybody to do networking and talking to people about what are you doing with your business and sharing information. I think that is so important. I also recommend keeping a positive attitude. You just never know, like being upbeat and positive really helps with your mindset, and it helps you have a positive, believe it or not, when you're positive about your outlook and you're positive about the future, then positive, really wonderful things happen to you. It happens that way. So I'm always cognizant of the thoughts that come through my head. Joe talked about intrusive thoughts. I pay attention to these thoughts and where they come from. Black-owned business. coachingwithdralicia.com, individual couples coaching. I also have a lot of courses and stuff that you guys can purchase and workbooks. And thank you, everybody.
I love it. What about you, Athena?
Okay, so I know we discussed a lot of things about entrepreneurship, that it's not for the weak, that there's so many barriers, that a lot of Black people are now getting into entrepreneurship. What I think that we must do is utilize our resources that we have, the power of AI, and our sheer will to advance us. So I have created a course called the AI Business Launch. You can take this course and finish it within 3 hours, by the way, so you can finish it in a weekend. And it will go through with you step by step the process utilizing the AI tools that I have in my business and others to streamline and create a customized business blueprint for you and your success. I take you behind the scenes of my business and the tools that I use, and also provide over 270 AI tools for you to take your idea and turn it into income. So if you are interested in that, since we have been talking about this whole conversation, you can find that at elevatewithathena.com. I also have a free workshop. So if you can't afford to invest right now, called Idea to Income, that's also available at the link elevatewithathena.com.
I love it. What about you, Joe?
So I'll just say this. I know somebody's at home watching these exceptional Black women tell you to listen and hit you with this line of questioning and all these other things that's going on. And you feeling intimidated, your body's getting tight, and you're like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I should. And that's your emotions trying to tell you that you absolutely should, because the only reason you'd ever be scared or intimidated by something like that is if it's what you really wanted to do. But you don't have to, go straight to D without, A, B, and C. Just take one step, just take one step and, push past, like Dr. Alicia said, push past those intrusive thoughts. And, it's risky. I'm not going to lie to you, it is a risk, and it can be intimidating. It can be overwhelming at times, but failure is not guaranteed. So, and you'll never know if you don't jump off the porch. Struggling with that? Hit me at realuconsulting.com. We can talk about it, or, follow me on all socials. My name is my name.
My name is my name. That's what he said. So I am Dr. Lene Javette. I literally, like, Black business, Black entrepreneurship, the success of Black people is why I wake up every day. I am told all the time, you're bigger than Black people, right? Like, why do you only serve Black people? Like, you could be out here making money. Yeah, but when I sit in these rooms and I'm the only person I see in these rooms, it bothers me. It bothers me that people think that our businesses aren't the best. It bothers me that people think that other people's water and ice is colder than ours. It bothers me when I walk into a Black-owned business and I see what's happening and I know how they can fix it. Like, that bothers me. And so I have dedicated literally my life to ensuring that we don't have the problems that we talked about today, right? I personally feel and believe that a lot of the reasons why our businesses suffer is because we don't have business acumen, we don't have business financing, and we don't have business friends, right? We're not in rooms with people who are talking about business. We're the first person. We have a desire, we have a passion, we have a purpose, but we don't necessarily know how to package it or how to produce it or how to sell it. Or maybe we don't know how to get the inventory. We don't know how to fund it. There are fundamental things about business that we just don't understand, right? And so what I do as a brilliant business coach and or strategist is I help Black service-based entrepreneurs package and sell their expertise, which is their brilliance. And I do that by helping them brand their brilliance and getting clear on 4 things. I help you to get clarity on what it is that you do, clarity on the second C is clients, who it is you do it for, and then also confidence, because we undercharge. We undercharge because we're not confident in how we put our business together. And if you have clarity and you get clients and you have confidence, you ultimately get coins, which is money. And that is why we become entrepreneurs, right? So 2 things. 1, if you would like to work with me, you can go to thebrilliantstrategist.com. But more importantly, my whole store is on sale for 80% off right now. So if you are looking to start a business, if you need some digital mastery, if you're looking to understand Canva, which we talked about today, if you are looking to understand Reels, if you're looking to whatever it is around your business that you might need some assistance with, if you go to thebrilliantstrategist.com, that is where I have all of the links for everything I do, okay? The third one says shop the Brilliant Store. And you can go there. There's 6 different classes right now that you can get at 80% off today, okay? But if you want to know about the books that I'm reading, okay, my goal is to have a library. So I buy books consistently. At this same link, thebrilliantstrategist.com, at the bottom, it says Amazon items for brilliance. You can literally see my book list. Every book I have ever purchased is on that list, okay? I will tell you the 2 that I'm reading right now, but these might not be the 2 books that you need right now. You might need a different book, okay? So that's why I'm telling you to go check out the Amazon items for brilliance, because on that list, it has the Black books that I've read, the Black books that I'm reading, the business books, the life books. It has every single book in my catalog since I've been ordering from Amazon. So if you go to thebrilliantstrategist.com, you can go to my store by Shop the Brilliant Store. You can check out my Amazon, which has all of that stuff. Plus, you can read my dissertation because it's on there as well. Okay? Woo! That's it. Be prepared. We, all of us, every single person that is in this room. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do it before I say it. How to 10 million. Sell your knowledge and make millions. That's what I was going to tell you guys. So this is the one, like, I'm taking to Sedona with me next week. I'm going to read this whole book in the weekend because I strategized for the year. This is the one I'm reading like right now, at this very, very moment. And I will tell you, you can listen to it on YouTube. I'm listening to it on YouTube, but I like to hear and read because I need to highlight. So, and it's called Profit First. Tune in tonight for Vulnerability is the Sexy with Joe Corley and a panel of Black men discussing why Black men don't, ooh, Jesus.
New
why
sex.
Black men don't ask for help. Come on now.
Vulnerability is the new sexy. I'm typo. My bad.
Ask for help as a Black man. Ask for help as a Black woman, and definitely ask for help as a Black entrepreneur. Black Lexicon, I've been watching your chats, your comments, all that. You are correct. We cannot go into this rabbit hole and as deep as it is in 1 hour because it's so deep. There's so many different things that we could talk about around business and being prepared and the finances and what you need to show up and understanding your target market and who you serve. We can go so deep, and I'm so passionate about it because it's what I do every day. But just keep tuning in every day, Monday through Friday, 1:00 p.m. Fly Nubian Money. We're having conversations about money. We're having conversations about entrepreneurship, wealth development. We do some pop stuff too, and we talk about how that relates to money. But keep tuning in here. If you don't know who your muse is yet, or what type of business to look for, or who to follow, keep following us. Keep showing up here Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. Text the word Queens to 87948 so that you can get that notification to let you know when to be here. And you can also check us out on Spotify. You can go back and listen to some of your favorite recordings and make sure that you leave a comment, a review. Let people know that you tune in and we are the bee's knees, okay? This is where you can come and get the business. With that, I hope today was good for you guys. I hope you guys go and support Joe and Athena and Dr. Alicia and myself. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. As always, be blessed. Have a beautiful day. Stay Black and be one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.